What is going on? What is going on? It is Cleveland Terry Show. Tech Thursday. Hope everybody's having a fantastic day. Just checking all my volumes, everything, so I can make sure that we're not walking into something stupid, which has happened on occasion. Hope everybody's doing well today. I'm doing well. I'm not gonna lie. My body hurts. My body hurts so bad. I did a circuit training yesterday, and the one thing that I absolutely don't love is legs. I hate legs. Don't get me wrong. I will go run, 2 to 4 miles. Not even think about it. I'll get on my bike. I'll go cycle, 10 miles. Not a thing. But my God, if you ask me to do anything like squats or, what's those stupid leg things where you drop down to one knee, I hate those. Like, more than anything else in the world, I hate those things. So, my legs are killing me right now. My entire bottom half is killing me. I'm trying to make it through it, but this hurts. Anyway, hope everybody's doing well today. But I barely could move when I got up today. We'll get there. We'll get there. Lunges. Thank you, Double O. I can't stand lunges. Okay, so who do we have in the building here? DJ Dustin, Alan Robertson, Double O, Dirty Jokes, Jonathan Hazlitt, Don Rafa, Semi Stealth, Johnny Trujillo, Don Taylor, DJ Dell, DJ Kenny, Jeff One in the building. Everybody's here. Everybody's here. Well, at least we're starting to get everybody here. Elder God Uzak. So thank you for the information, for the compliment. I appreciate that, honestly. They really are one of my favorite lights. I'm gonna do another video because something triggered me yesterday or the day before, whenever I released it. Something triggered me because everybody kept saying the same thing. Not everybody, a few people. I'm over exaggerating, but everybody kept saying the same thing. See, I just did it again. Where, okay, so I'm a little done with absolute statements out there. And the way people react, and it's not just DJs, it's everybody. It really is everybody. But the way people put things on the internet can really leave a negative taste in your mouth. Like, I've been using those things for a while now. The angles have never bothered me. But the fact that people are like, oh, well, the tilt is horrible. They don't work on totems. They're worthless. Okay, first off, they're not worthless because they don't work on totems. If they don't work on totems. I'm not even saying they don't work on totems, but they're not worthless if they don't work on totems. They may be worthless to you, but that doesn't mean they're worthless to everyone. And anytime somebody reacts or responds that way, they all sound exactly the same. Exactly the same. And this kind of, if it doesn't work for me, it doesn't work for anybody stuff just drives me nuts. It just drives me nuts. It's not necessary. There's tons of things that don't work for me. I don't go on a hating spree. They just don't work for me. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's okay for you not to like something. It's okay for you not to even want to. Oh, are we getting commercials? Well, there are ways to avoid the commercials. We know that. But let me see here. Let me just delay ads. There's a little option that pops up that says, oh, you want to add commercials. I assumed, I guess, incorrectly, I assumed that they would add the commercials to the, future videos. Like because I don't want to just decide. I don't want to decide when a commercial should pop up. That's dumb. Well, Mixed Master G, I'm not balling like you. Okay. We can't all be Mixed Master G. Some of us are working men, and, that's it. And if ads don't work for you guys, I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm going to be honest with you. In all honesty, I will be honest with you because I'm honest to all my people. If ads don't work, there's a reason that there are ads, and I love to help you guys. But this is also time when I could be doing other things. Okay, just full disclosure. I enjoy doing this, but this is time that I could be doing other things. So I have to monetize this time. Now, the monetization can come from many different ways. Super chats are fantastic. Becoming a member, fantastic. All of these things are reasons for me to, want to come back. Again, I enjoy helping, but you get what I'm saying? I'd like to think that that the information that I provide is valuable. So I don't want them on during my show because I like to dictate when the commercials happen. That's not going to happen. But on all replays and things like that, there's going to be commercials. That's it. That's all I'm saying. And I won't apologize for anything like that. There's a lot of people out there, like I said, with the lights, who just feel like everything should just be given to them for free. Everything just, well, I don't understand. Why you have ads? Ugh. I'm done apologizing. I hit that magic number, and there's a lot of things that I pay premium. Okay, 100% premium without the first time. Well, first off, once you sign up to premium, it's literally a drug addiction because you never want to see another ad again. That's the thing. So anytime I'm sitting next to somebody like, oh, let me show you this video, and the video's on, and all of a sudden commercial pops up. I'm like, I look at them funny. Really? Thank you, Callow. I try not to make a big deal about that, because I always know who knows me and who doesn't know me, based upon how people talk to me in real life and on chat. If they go to Terry first, that tells me they don't think Cleveland is my actual first name. That's where I am, where I live. I know this. So I usually just let it rub off. But anytime somebody wants to call me out, that's when it bothers me. Like when somebody's mad at something I said on a video, or, they need to look, Terry, you don't know me, so I'm not going to listen to you. Oh, and then the biggest thing, and this goes to everybody out there. This is a cleansing for me. I'm cleaning out my closets right now. This is the one thing that we probably, if you don't want anti-wrath, See? We'll come back to this one. Where was I? I was just about to say before that popped up. The biggest thing for me, the biggest thing you can do, to just, I will just disconnect from you. Okay. The biggest thing you can do is ask a question on a video that has the answer in the video. That's the biggest thing that you can do. That, like, you're likely not going to get a response. And if you do get a response, it's not going to be the response you want. The color key video I did, somebody asked a question. Now, if you guys have watched the color key video, this will seem obvious to you. Okay. And there's a reason it's obvious to you. There were two questions that people asked. One was, well, can you compare this to the 4Z, the DJAY 4Z? I do that. I literally pulled it into the video. Okay. I didn't respond to that one. One of my other people responded to that one. Thank you for that. The one that not only bothered me, but kind of set me off was the one that said, hey, what DMX controller are you using for your events? Okay. I did a facepalm, just a facepalm emoji. Just trying to say, like, hey man, before I call you out, you might want to just take a look again. Okay. Just let the facepalm. After that, a couple hours goes by and said, come on, man, we're not children here. Why can't you tell me which one you used? And I said to him, the reason why I can't tell you which one I used was because I said which one I used 1 minute. 1 minute into the video. And it wasn't just a passing by statement. I literally said, for all of you that are wondering, I use a WMX. I know some of you are going to ask me, hey man, what do you use? This is what I use, the WMX one. And then I set it back down. I turned it around and held it to the camera. I don't deal with that kind of stupidity. That kind of stupidity bothers the hell out of me. That's why when the person asked about, another thing, it was later on into the video. I get it. Some people like to skip around, they jump, they do. I understand. Maybe they're holding it down and it goes into fast forward mode. I get it. But my God, I do not restart now. Don't ask me to update. This is why I hate Windows. I do not ask for much from people. And I really do really try to answer all the questions that I know people are going to ask. I've been doing this thing for a while now. So I generally know the questions that people are going to ask, the dumb ones, the dumb questions. So I take all this time, I shoot the video. The video was about, I think, 10 minutes, 12 minutes. And it was a short video. Like my normal videos are like 20 minutes. So you should be able to fly through. You shouldn't have to jump around because, especially when it's a review video. Why jump around for a review video? That's just dumb to me. Like if it's just my thoughts or whatever. Oh, hold on. Ads will resume shortly for some viewers. Okay. This is getting easier. If this was a my thoughts video or something like that, or a rant video, I absolutely get it. I do. But if I'm doing a review or tips and tricks or how to, I think you should probably listen to everything I'm saying. You know what I mean? Because I've taken the time to break it down and put it in a way that you can kind of consume it over the 10 minutes of time. You know, this is what I've done for you. And I've done it for you, not just for you, but for me. Let's see if I can delay these ads again. Okay. For me, because I want you to be able to get the information and not ask questions. If you ask questions and it's related to something in my video that's not, you know, obviously there's certain questions that people will ask that had nothing to do with it. But if you ask me a question and I know that I should have answered it in the video, I'm bothered. I'm like, oh man, how did I forget that? So I try to make it a point. That's the whole thing. You know, they're thorough from start to finish. They're broken out in a way that are easily consumable, that kind of, you know, take you through the journey. I tell you that I love the thing from the beginning. Always typically do. And then I tell you why I love it. Or I tell you why there's good, there's bad, whatever. Anyway. Okay. Let me go to Evolve 70 video. It's not going to happen for at least another 2 weeks. The only reason why is I've used them now twice. First time it was on a stage. I never liked the way speakers sound on stage, although they didn't sound bad, but I didn't love them there. Second time, super small room, low ceilings. I knew they were going to hit. I think I have one more. I'm dead today this weekend because it's Passover. But next weekend, what is next weekend? Where am I? Next weekend. Oh, we're Sarah on Vine, which means that there's no sound system. So that leads me to the 26th. Now, I may or may not be here. My sister is graduating or getting her master's. So I might be heading to Vegas to go see her. Okay. So I'm not really sure yet. If I don't, then I will release the video. I mean, look, I can give you a slight spoiler alert right now. They are great speakers. However, there is a difference between the 90s and the 70s. Like the 90s, I don't think there's anything that's touching them right now. The 70s, however, kind of fall into that middle ground. The 70s were a reaction to the fact that they didn't have any 15-inch column arrays. Okay, so those are going to sound like a lot of the other ones, you know, like the Maui 44s, you know, things like that. So they're obviously definitely usable, but there's just more competition there between those. They still sound really good though, really good. I'm currently converting all of my speakers, all my cords to PowerCon. I didn't need it before because a lot of them were IEC, but now with all of my movers, all of my speakers, and I mean the LDs too, everything's PowerCon. I don't even have a standard IEC plug anymore. So I think I'm going to move completely over. I still need to do one thing. I need to get one of those. I think I'll order it today. I need one of those plates for the undercarriage of my Danny Max booth. The one that you wire everything in, and then you only just have the PowerCon and an XLR dropout. I need to get one of those. So then I can really just be done. I'll be very, very happy. Yeah, but PowerCon. Okay. Don't break my computer. Don't break my other computer. All right, let's see what we got here. Question time. Okay, Alan says, Terry, what's your backup plan if equipment fails? How early do you arrive for setup? How long does your setup take? That is a lot of questions. And a lot of questions that typically have nothing to do with anybody else. Everybody sets up on their own way, you know? But in general, I have multiple backup options, okay? First off, what's my backup plan if my equipment fails? So I arrive to my events approximately 2 hours before cocktail. All right. That gives me time to, obviously get all of my equipment to the venue, make sure that I have everything. If I don't, oh shit, go run out and go grab some more. Okay. Also gives me a chance to do proper sound checks, all those things. So 2 hours before. My setup takes, once everything's in the building, all of 20 minutes. I have a DJAY booth. For the most part, I have column arrays for my speakers, which means one plug, one power, one XLR on each side. I have the Humpter totems that are easy to build. Stack, stack, stack. Mover on top. Maybe if I want to, mover on the floor. I'm usually on a stage. Mover on the stage, shooting up and out. And my DJAY booth is completely wired in. So literally, I just pull out my MacBook charger and pop it in. And I'm pretty much good to go. WMX is already pre-programmed. I have wireless DMX for my lighting. So just click them in, like 20 minutes. 20 minutes. Okay, now, backup plan. All right, so within my system, I have a full cellular iPad with DJ on it, if I need to go that route. I also keep, which I don't always bring, it just kind of depends. I also have a Denon Prime Go, the Denon Prime Go Plus, in a case that's sitting in my truck, just sits in my truck. I don't take it with me, I just leave it in the truck. In the event that I need to, my stuff's failing, and I grab it. I don't know. Does that answer your question? Anyway, what do I do if stuff fails? Have a backup. What got to knock on the wood here. What is it? What has failed me over time? Let me see here. Anything failed me in the last few years? I haven't had a controller fail me to the point where it's like, oh, it's dead. I haven't had that. I've had computer crashes. I've had DMX not work properly. I've had speakers go out. And, I think it's more about redundancy than anything else. If something does fail, for instance, like, and I used to go point source, and maybe a high would decide to die on me. It's not the end of the world. You still got another set of highs. You probably have a cocktail speaker, that I can pop on. It doesn't matter if it's not the same. Doesn't matter if the quality is not as good. The point is that you got it covered. But besides that, computer crashes. Yeah, hopefully you got a backup audio source that you can run real quick until it resets. Hardware crashes. I have not had a controller fail on me. Maybe one time, once or twice. Let's see here. I had a Rev 7. I had a Rev 7 freeze up on me. Actually, I had a DJAY 1000 do that once too, where it was like, I don't want to work anymore. And the only way to fix it was to reset the controller. Like, it wouldn't matter if you just reset your computer. It was a controller issue. But in general, yeah, I don't have failure points. And maybe I don't have failure points because of the products that I use, the quality of the product that I use. I can't really answer that, but yeah, I haven't really had a problem. I can't get to the button to update this. This is really frustrating. Anyway, so yeah, hopefully that answers it. Okay. Professor BX in the building. Yes, it was the 1000. Yeah. It was virtual DJ. You're right. You know, virtual DJ and all of these softwares, they do takeovers. It's just a MIDI mapping, right? It's a MIDI override. And some of the, especially the older ones, it feels like, and it seems to happen more with VDJ than it does with like DJ. DJ seems to react better, but virtual DJ, you know, when you open up virtual DJ and you haven't, if you haven't touched anything, right, you just logged into virtual DJ. What happens is that none of these knobs, it knows what to do with yet, because you haven't told it what it is. So what that means is, in order to get things to be at, you know, 0 mark, you got to just go in and just turn the knobs real quick, right? All of them, honestly, all of them. And once you get to all of them, okay, everything's good. Now you can get to work. Okay. But for some reason, that one particular time with VDJ, as I was DJing, it just stopped. Like, it just stopped doing it. Nothing was working. No controls were working. It was just like, I don't know what controller. It felt like Gmail or Google asking for your password and not believing you. You know what I mean? You know, those memes that go around when you're like, oh, I need a password. And you put it in and it's like, who are you? Where you? Are you in Cambodia? Like, it's like that kind of drama. Okay. But since then, I haven't had that since then. Yes, this is very true. So in case you're wondering what Professor BX means is, virtual DJ are literally like pirates. Okay. They're one of, if not the, you know, historically established software for DJs out there, but they run that thing like they don't have a single customer, and they're trying to beat somebody to the punch every time. That's just the way they work. So they'll come out with something, or something will come out and I'm like, oh my God, we need to get that on our system. And they'll map it out and do all this reverse engineering. They did the same thing with stems. They did the same thing with streaming services. Everything was reverse engineered. Get it out there as quickly as possible. And then sometimes mistakes can be made. So anyway, nothing wrong with virtual DJ. Anyway, Lou Primo in the building. What's going on, fam? Good to see you. Okay, let's see here going on. Well, let's see. Keep up the good work. All right, Don Rafa. Have you ever had an issue with the venue regarding how much stuff you have brought into their venue? Every week. Every week. Venues don't understand. Okay. I think a lot of times what we're dealing with here is kind of miseducation or uneducated, less experience. And what do I mean by that? I mean, some venues may have a certain type of DJ. Okay. Certain type of DJ that just comes in there with a gig bar, with some, you know, super small 12-inch arrays, and, you know, they're just there and that's it. They got a facade and they call it a day. I come in with more than that. I typically come in with more sound that I'm required to have. I typically come in with more lighting just because it's a me thing. Typically, sometimes I bring my gig bar Move ILS. I'm not saying I'm any different, but depending on the show, depending on the amount of people, depending on my energy level, I might be putting up a bigger show. So yeah, as a matter of fact, and when that happens, if I have to, I mean, all of our DJ stuff is modular, right? All of us, every one of us. So if that happens, sorry, I'm hearing random things right now. If that happens, then I bring in less stuff. There's just a couple of things that will end up staying in my truck, and it is what it is. But because sometimes you'll walk in and you'll be like, they really don't have any space. And for whatever reason, pretty much nobody accounts for speakers. For whatever reason that is. I don't know why. They are the just number one thing that you need over anything in your setup. Speakers are the most important. And that's the one that nobody wants to see, or they're in the way. The speakers. Anyway, I know I'm going to pull up this other comment section so I can read the real-time ones too. That will help me not forget anything as they're coming through. What power distribution do I use? What power distribution do I use? I use a Furman. That's about it. Yeah. Yeah. When on my old school, biamped racks, there was definitely far more stuff needed. And I'm not going to lie. I'll say this till I'm blue in the face, just so we're clear. There's been no speaker system, not one speaker system that has come out in the last 15 years that is better sounding. And when I say, I should say powered speaker system, that is better sounding than my JBL PRX, 818 passives and my Serato in Vegas, going through, two QSC mixed amps, 2450 and a 4050 for the subs. And then my crossover, which I loved. I forget the name of it right now. You don't have to say it, but there's no system out there. There's no powered system that I have used. There's one powered system that I've used that comes remotely close to it. And that is, my powered JBL SRX 818/828 sub. Do you know the 828 sub? It's the big dual box. Closest thing that has come to my biamped system. Nothing has come close. Every column array I've ever used, pretty much every point source. Yeah, they sound good. They sound fine. They sound good, fine. Nothing comes close. So that's why I always tell people when they're like, oh, this sounds amazing. I'm like, nothing sounds as good. And I know as we use certain things, we start to develop a different hearing profile, with the way, because, you don't use something for a long time and you've been using something else, things start to look better just in general because that's all you've been using. There's a military thing from, I have a couple of people in the military, and they've all been on tour. And a couple of them went to Afghanistan for things. And when I tell you, I always ask and say, hey, when you guys are out there, do people still get together? Are you just war focused, or when you have downtime, do you guys just mess around? And he's like, oh, absolutely. We have, because I know there's guys and girls there. I'm like, oh, so do they, do people get together? Is that a thing? And they're like, oh, absolutely. And I'm like, really? He goes, oh, you'd be surprised. As a matter of fact, some of the most unattractive women are, when you don't come around a lot of good looking people all the time, there's a thing called Afghan hot. That's what they called it. Afghan hot. Meaning, in the real world, there's no way you'd be messing with any of these people. But you spend a year in a place where there are no pretty people, the ugly people start to look good. Afghan hot. That's how I feel about the speakers we use right now. Everybody is so used to the sound that's coming out and all the things that people have told them that this is the sound that you should have. They don't know what actually good is. So now they're basing the new sound on the mediocre sound. That's it. So now you have good, mediocre sound. You don't have good sound. Jonathan Hassett, thank you for the super chat, fam. Appreciate that. But you see what I'm saying? That's the key here. That's the key. Okay. Let's see here. Loki surprised. All right, let me slide this over so I can read this. There we go. All right. Thank you. See, Don Rafa watched the video. I know that for a fact. Okay. All right, let's pop down here. EV90 for school prom. What's your thoughts? More subs added, or I should be fine? I don't think you'll be fine with anything that's just a single set of speakers, in all honesty, for a school prom. Now, it depends on the size. It depends on how big the room is. I mean, if you're going to be in like like a gym, a multi-purpose room, and that room is packed with kids, you're going to need more than just the 90s. Okay. That's like me just taking a just 2-point source speakers, you know, tops and lows on each side. I'm going to need more. You're going to need more either next to it, down the line. You're going to need more. But you know, if you're just in a standard, like, I don't know, hotel room, party room, then you probably should be fine. You know, I don't think I love the 90s. I really do love the 90s. But the facts are, there are limitations to the 90s, just like there are limitations to any speaker out there. You know, and in certain cases, they're fine up to a point. But at a certain point, you gotta supplement. And that would be the same with any speaker out there. Any speaker, you gotta supplement sometimes. What's the max? No, don't think about it as max. Don't think about it as max. Think about it as, okay. So I'm in the middle. There's a lot of people out there that just say you bring speakers for the size of the room. I don't completely agree with that. Okay. Because I think it's silly. I think it's silly if you got a small ass wedding of 70 people, but the room can hold 400. So you bring speakers for 400. That seems dumb to me. And no disrespect to anybody that's doing it or people that argue with me on it. It just seems dumb. So I'm going to say this to you. If you argue with me, I'm going to go, okay. And I'm going to walk away. I think it's dumb. And this is a conversation that neither one of us are going to agree on. But I tend to plan my speakers for the amount of people. That is like my first thing. Then room is second. Okay. The room does have something to do with the planning for the number of people. Okay. So what do I mean by that? I mean that if I have 200 people, okay, but they're in a room that I know is typically for 150 people. Okay. I'm still going to bring my smaller setup for that 150 room because I know it's more than enough for the room. But if I'm in a big room, I'm not bringing big speakers just because you have to qualify that with the amount of people you have on your guest list. The 90s depends on the room. I did with the 90s, the three things that I did were all medium to large rooms. And they had a range of 150 to 230. They worked well in all of them. Now, you saw the video, and what I said was on my 90 review that they held their own in the Oprah Winfrey soundstage. Okay, meaning they were good enough. Where they were the best sounding column arrays in that room that we've ever used. Every other one didn't just get swallowed up. It was like irrelevant. Okay. But these, for the first speakers that actually like, okay, they're doing some damage. Still not point source, or still going to need a secondary, down the line of something. That's fair. And that's true. You get what I'm saying? So it just depends. All right. Let me see here. That part, Lou. All right, let's see here. So any more demos? I might do one more video on the 70s. One more. Maybe before I do the full review. I might do a comparison of the Bose, the L32s with the sub 2s. I know that's a big request. Maybe the LD28, although I think it's dumb, but that's been a big request too. And that's it. I did the Mauis. It's actually amazing to me, some of the comments I've seen on the Mauis, because I've heard them in real life and I don't know where the translation is coming from, but people kept saying, oh, the Mauis definitely sound clearer. Now, I don't know if it's confirmation bias or what people hear, because I absolutely did not hear, at a minimum, the clarity was better on the Mauis. But that's just my opinion and me being in the room. But I did not hear that. So it's very interesting to me. Although I know I did not do the subs right, because everybody kept saying, oh, the subs are better on the Mauis. We were running hot on the Mauis. We were running so low on the 70s. So that's a my fault thing. But it doesn't matter anyway. People want to complain about the bass anyway. How are you going to get a bass out of this small ass microphone? What's the point? You just need to go to the room and check them out. Listen for yourself. Don't listen to this man. Don't believe what they have to say. They don't have. Shut up. Why do you spend so much energy? Why? The only person that sounds stupid is not me. All right, let's see here. Oh no, Pablo. This is absolutely true. As a matter of fact, that's why I was mentioning Sarah. Sarah on Vine there's been this new uptick of just lots of boutique venues. They look good. They're in a cool little space, and they are in the middle of neighborhoods. Every one of them. So they have sound ordinances. They don't let you bring their speakers in. And when I tell you, basically that Sonos speaker, they have the JBL version of that Sonos system, expecting people to dance their asses off to that. It's not going to happen. Guys, you're asking silly questions. And when I say that, I mean that there's no way that these questions can be answered without real information. Okay? I have two comment sections up here so I can kind of see, because I know I like to linger on things. But Omar says QSC K12.2s for 250 people. Enough sound. No. Now, that's the butthead in me. I'm actually going to explain what I mean by no. Stop doing this to yourselves. Okay? Now, let's just qualify it real quick. First off, you didn't mention any subs. No subs were mentioned in this. So it's never going to be enough sound. Just a couple of 12.2s. 12.2s were never, ever, 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 ever. And I don't care what anybody says. I will tell this to QSC's face. They were never designed to be alone. Okay? They're never designed to work on their own. Can you use them on their own? Yes, you can. But even in full range, they are good at best. But they're not going to wow anybody. First off. Secondly, are you doing is it just a, cocktail reception where you're just providing background music? Are these just for speeches? So when anybody asks me questions, about things like this, I'm going to start putting them in like references of ants. Okay. They're like 12.2s. They good for 250? 250 ants? Yeah, absolutely. Can I use my, my L28s for 500 people in a stadium? 500 ants? Yeah. You don't need me to answer some of these questions. You don't. You know for yourself. You do. You just either don't want to admit it, or you're trying to justify what you have, because nobody will tell you that's enough. Ever. And look, I know there's this thing that's been going around. I know there's this thing, because I've been seeing it in comments, where people believe that, because somebody said thinking that you need heavy bass on every event. There's this growing contingency of people that feel like they don't need bass, or bass isn't important. When did bass not be important? What am I missing, DJs? I am seriously confused. I feel like I'm in like reverse world with all the stuff that's been going on, all the tariffs. We did buy our floor. We bought our LED floor, and we had to pay for it all now before the tariffs went into effect. We were going to pay for it anyway, but it was like, no. Because normally you pay half first, and then you pay half when it's being shipped. Okay. And that shipping usually takes, a few weeks. Okay. So then you pay your next half. This time, the moment we paid, because I kept telling my partner, I'm like, dude, you need to get in there and you need to pay that. I don't know how it's going to affect us for these tariffs. Our stuff's coming from China. So yes, you need to have stuff in place. And he put the down payment down. And then the guy emailed him yesterday. And it's like, hey, we need all the money right now. I need to get them out by April 17th. I want you to remember that date, April 17th. That is the day that all the tariffs for China start to become monitored. And they have compliance people to make sure, Chinese compliance people to make sure that everybody's factoring in those tariffs. So the guy's like, I need to get those things out right now before the 17th. If they don't go out before the 17th, then they're going to make us tack it on. I'm telling you, this is... Anyway. Okay. When playing 60s folk music, you don't need bass. Bass is even important in bluegrass. Well, that makes sense, because bluegrass are typically, if I'm not mistaken, they typically rock like upright basses. So you're going to need that bass, because that bass is that driving force. So yeah, that happens. That makes a lot of sense. Just very, very annoying. Okay, let's see here. All right. You were talking about PowerCon from the top of your DJ table to the middle section with the quick connect. I'd love a video. Not really a video necessary. I mean, once I get the plates, yeah, I'll do a video just to kind of show people, but it's from NLX. They make just custom plates. So underneath your Danny Max booth, and I'm pretty sure this applies to most booths, but I know they make something for Danny Max specifically. So underneath your booth, you have a couple of holes, and the holes are, one is for like your Ape Labs coins that sit right underneath there, and that projects down, so it lights up your front, the front part of the booth, which I love because I don't have to throw a uplight underneath there, like it just lights it up. And then to the right of those, you have these slots, okay, and there's basically like square holes. And that's usually where you run your cables through on each side, you know, and you drop them down to the floor, and then maybe you either run them right to the speakers, or you have some adapters, or they go into the surge protector. NLX makes a adapter plate, okay, that basically takes all of your plugs and you plug them into the adapter plate from within the Danny Max box. So the only thing underneath the plate is XLRs and a PowerCon connection. That way you never have to go in reaching into your box to pull the cables down and, you know, all that stuff. Not that it's the end of the world, but I'm just trying to make it even cleaner that I can. That's all. So yes, that's all it is. Okay. All right. All right. What's best to use for power surge prevention? Okay. All right, Civil. I'm gonna give you the easy answer, because it really is an easy answer. Best to use for power surge prevention is a power surge box, a surge protector. Pretty much any surge protector. Now, the difference between surge protectors is they are not all created equal. Okay. And what I mean by that is, a lot of people will just go and they'll buy a surge protector from, you know, anywhere, and then they'll wonder why their switch keeps popping. And it's popping because you're running too much power through there and the surge protector can't handle the load. Okay. Simple as that. So you need to make sure that you get a surge protector that can handle your power load. Even my Furman, as great as it is, hates my QSC subs. So I run my QSC subs directly into the wall because it hates it. Hates with a passion. So, because it will pop the circuit if you are running it through there. Besides that, that's it. And if you're running column arrays, for the most part, doesn't matter. You can plug everything into one surge protector and be done. Okay. Omar says, is the DJ wash effect still worth it in 2025 for mobile DJing? I don't know. What do you think? I think that any light that you use that you like is still worth it. I don't think there's any fixture. I mean, look, I still have, and they still work, even though they need to be repainted, as you saw in the video. I still have my Chauvet Intimidator Spot 350s. They still work. New technologies come and beat them, but they still work just fine. And in a pinch, absolutely, I could use those on a party. But I've moved on. So the wash effects work. You know where I love to use washes? Excuse me. Where I love to use the wash effects, specifically the wash effects from Chauvet. I put it underneath my gig bar move, ILS. So, you know, it's got the two movers, it's got the washes, it's got the laser, and then the derbies. I put it right underneath the washes, the wash effects, and I run those together. and it gives you just the right amount of light. Just the right amount of light. So big fan. Big fan. Donald Cannon, thank you so much, fam. Appreciate you for this super chat. That's how you do it. That's if I know the super chats are coming in, no commercials. I got a bot mitzvah to pay for in August. I'm not looking forward to it. I'm not looking forward to it. Okay. No, Professor BX, I'm telling you. I just run it through. Sorry. And it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be, but it's okay. I run direct. Because I know it is what it is. I can't buy anymore. I can't buy anymore. I have been told my speaker blew due to my faulty surge protection. Likely. Oh no. The Furman. I don't know. The Furman. I don't know. I have to look. I gotta look. But in general, I haven't been able to run most things off surge protectors. From my, no, let me think here. No, when I used to go, I'm trying to think, I'll look it up because, I've always had to run subs kind of direct because they just pull too much power. I'll look and I'll tell you. Okay. Quick question. FX. Okay. That's answered that question. Hold on. Okay. I'm trying not to lose questions. So I'm just going to toggle these up real quick. Just so I can make sure I don't forget some questions, because every time I go back and I rewatch the video, what? Hold on. It will not let me. Oh, there we go. Okay. I guess I'm answering this question right now. You were talking about PowerCon. Okay. I answered that one. Good. All right. I'm just trying to, I keep hearing about cold sparklers. Is there a hot sparkler as well? I've never used them. Is one or more dangerous? Yeah. The cold sparklers are what you want to use. Hot sparklers are not something I'd recommend on a party, but the cold sparklers are the ones you want to use. Specifically cold sparklers, if you even want to use them. Just because people tell you that you need them does not mean that you need to get them. Okay? It does not mean that. And I know a lot of people they kind of keep up with the Joneses and stuff, but your market might not even support it for all you know. You could always rent cold sparklers first. People want to buy and spend all this money. Rent first. See if they even work for you. And then go from there. But cold sparklers, it's the type of metal that's burning inside of them, and they use aluminum something. Anyway, they still have a little bit of a pop to them. There's still some heat to them. They're not cold. Okay, they're just not hot. You understand what I'm saying? Like if you put your hand in them, yeah, they're not going to hurt your hand. But if you're kind of a little off to the side, and one of those things, that aluminum kind of pops off real quick, you feel it. Okay. So, just be careful. That's all I'm going to say. Cold sparklers are not for everybody. Be careful. All right. Where can I put this so it's out of the way? Move, damn it. Okay. What is going on with this stupid box? There we go. Okay. Can I shrink this down too? I got to get a new screen. The problem here is this old ass screen will not let me place the boxes in the right place because it's the resolution, but this is the resolution that has the clearest view of the text. Every other resolution is like too small. So I'm trying to see the comments and then go from there. Okay. Take the DJAY watch effects and put them in the ceiling, one color, and then around the room, put up lighting. There you go. There you go. All right, let's see here. Most modern power amps have built-in surge protection. Well, they have, yeah, they got built-in circuit protection. You are correct. Typically speaking, most speakers will turn off before any outside power can destroy them. You know, there is actually the JBL Eons were notorious for not even wanting to turn on if it didn't like the power it was getting. Those like Eon 515s, no matter what, you plug them in, it doesn't like the power, they'll just sit there. No. And you just have to deal with it. So everything depends. Okay. All right. Let's see here. 1149. Thank you, Professor BX. Appreciate that. Yeah, I don't know. I know I was supposed to talk about DJ, but every time we start talking about other things. I mean, this is what I will say. First off, the update. Fantastic. Let me get off this. As you can see, update. Fantastic. Fantastic. Except for the fact of the recording. Okay, there we go. Yeah. I recorded a mix real quick on it yesterday because I needed to get one out to a client. So that's out. But again, I'm just going to say this. I truly believe that at this point in time, DJ is likely overall, okay? I'm only talking overall. What's that box there for? Do you guys see a box? A blue box? You guys see a blue bounding box? Now it's gone. That's weird. Okay. That was very weird. Okay. In general, I truly believe that they're making the best software, DJ software right now. There's nobody better. Now, this update fixed a lot of my issues that I was having with it. For instance, simple things, but things that play into it. Okay. They fixed the drag and drop. Okay. So that was one thing that was very, very important because if once you played something, you couldn't get it back or you couldn't get it into another crate. Well, now you can take this and move it anywhere. Okay. You could not do that before. So that's fantastic. They also did something that, most people don't even realize that it didn't have before. And nobody even really talked about it. But it did not have a mono output. Right here, this little thing is huge in a lot of respects. So it did not have a mono output. They added one in there. Another thing, they fixed auto mix. So auto mix is even cleaner now, and you can auto mix from any playlist known to man, or you can just basically turn it on. That was great. And I mean, and visually, it's been great. Apple Music's been perfect on here, as it has been for a long, long time. And then the last thing, something that I was actually shocked that nobody ever talked about. Like, nobody ever talked about it. It's a very simple thing. And I know what people are going to say. Well, turn off your Wi-Fi. Turn off your Bluetooth. When you're DJing, none of these things should be on. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. These computers can do way more than just DJ. Okay? And people that continue to pop off to turn off your Wi-Fi with streaming so prevalent are insane. They are absolutely insane. So, but the one thing that it used to do, one thing, if you were DJing, right? You were in the mix doing your thing, and you got a FaceTime call. When I tell you, it would turn off your software. It would put software on pause while that FaceTime call was just ringing. Just ringing. Now, finally, when you're on here, when FaceTime pops up, all it does is pop up in the little corner over here and then it doesn't deactivate your audio. My God, was that frustrating. I had to go into Do Not Disturb because of that reason before I started DJing. I don't have to do that anymore. Let me try to find some. I got too many pads here. Okay. Okay. Logistical styles. This one right here is absolute facts. And if I can get up to, I just want to have your thing up here. Okay. So I'm not quite sure why this is such a thing to them. Because even when I talked to Angelo, he was like, oh, they have fixed some of it. So now, if you have a playlist, and I'll go right over here. If you have a playlist, not a playlist, I'm sorry. If you've made a cue point, okay? So 53, that's fine. We can do it there. Added a cue point, right? And let's say, for instance, you were right here, okay? And you added a cue point. Well, in Serato, you had a cue point. It's going to take this cue point if you have the option set. It's going to take this cue point and it's going to put it wherever is earliest in here. So 006 would mean that it should sit right here. Okay. And then it would push all the other pads down. That's fantastic. I need that. Now, here's one thing that I will say to why I think the way they've done it is better, but also a little annoying. Okay. Because I do wish there was chronological order, but I do like the way they've done this because there's been several times when I've been, making some sort of routine or whatnot, and maybe the pads or the cues are for very specific things. Like maybe I'm looping something or doing something. Well, normally, if I do them in chronological, those loop points or whatever it might be here. And maybe if I'm not doing that routine, I got to remember, okay, I got to make sure I hit this button because this is the button that takes me to the first verse or whatnot. Now, all I have to do is hit edit, and then I can just drag wherever I want that playlist. I don't know, I keep saying playlist, wherever I want that pad, that cue point. Okay. And I kind of like this way better in the long run. Okay. That way. So you see now this way. So now if you really have some sort of routines, you can keep your routine buttons on the bottom, but keep your normal cue points on the top. And I like that a lot. Now that's a little bit of now the one thing it should do, which it doesn't do, it doesn't tell you what pads are. They don't label them. That's going in my video. They don't label them. And that makes it hard to figure out exactly where you were. So Okay. Anyway. All right. Professor BX says, I always turn off chronological queue because of routines. Exactly. Exactly. So there are some good and bad points to it. You got to figure out what works for you. But I think this might be the best of both worlds this way. You could always name the queue points. That's been there for forever. Not forever. I mean, as long as I've been using it. Yeah, you just have to go. Where is it? Where is the queue point naming? Edit. Let me see here. I always forget. Where is the queue point naming? There we go. Test. All right. Now you're not going to see it there, but when I close it off, there it is. Test. So that could always be done. And you can do it from there. You don't have to go and edit and then just add it in. And that is spelled incorrect. Like so. Yeah. So I don't know if how long if it's been there, but ever since I've been even using DJ, it's been there. But okay, I mean, here's my thing with it. Okay, honestly, my issue is that we're installed. My issue is that I keep coming back to it. Okay, every time I open up Serato, every time I open up any program, the one I keep going back to, I kind of feel like is the one that I should be using. And I keep going back to DJ. Now, visually, compared to everybody else, it is visually the best looking application for DJs. I don't think there's any one that is better, visually speaking. The high res screen, you know, especially for Mac, it just looks really good. It's customized enough, okay? And as they continue to build on, they keep customizing it. I'm going to be honest with you. There's certain things that while they're great, feel a little gimmicky to me, okay? I don't think they do a lot of gimmicks, but even with like, I know Mojax did a review on the Crossfader effects, which are very, very cool, but there's only so much we can do. So he brought in, you know, another mini box to make it work. And that's great. That's great. I just don't know if that's something that I want to have with me as I DJ. It's just one of those things. You get what I'm saying? It's a lot. It's a lot for me. I love what it's doing, and I guarantee you there are going to be tons of people that go in there and make amazing routines out of them. Probably won't be me, just because I don't want to keep bringing more devices, and it's not their fault. You know, they're going to need to go out and connect with somebody, Alpha Theta, Rain, and they're going to need to make a controller that can do it all. A custom controller that can hit all of these things that they're talking about. But what do I know? What do I know? Okay. Oh, and one other pet peeve. I know it's simple. I know this is a very simple thing, but when I tell you, it's like learning how to, you know, program HTML when you've never. Where'd my screen go? Sorry, boys. My power on my camera just went out. Must have been on for too long. Come on. Come back to me. There we go. Okay. Oh, what was I going to talk about? My pet peeve. My pet peeve. What was it? What was I talking about? Because there is one thing that I know bothers me, and I can't think of it now. That's gonna bother. It was a stupid but big thing. What was it? I'm gonna remember when I get off. I know that. I'm going to remember, and it's gonna bother the hell out of me. What was it? Not text size. Text size is fine. Anyway. I wish I could rewind the tape. I should. Justin, the DJ in the building. What's going on? Closing the DJ app does not ask. It does ask now. I thought that was weird too when I closed it last night, but well, it asked yesterday. That's weird. Maybe it didn't ask but that right there, see how fast that popped up? That alone is better than any other software, DJ software that we have. That changes everything. In all honesty, that speed that I just brought it open changes everything. Now, let's see here. Let me just make sure. Alt Q. Okay. So I know it doesn't do it that way. However, I think if I close it from the interesting. Yesterday, I know I closed it and the box popped up and said, "Sure you want to close DJ?" I know I did that. Am I going crazy? Oh, thank you, Mixmaster G. Thank you very much. Okay, so if there are no songs on, it allows you to close it. If there are no songs on, all right? But if you got something loaded and it's playing, and then you try to close it, now you get the box. There we go. Yeah, so, but if there's nothing playing, the box won't pop up. VDJ is fast. It's not that fast. It is not that fast. What was my pet peeve? The FaceTime was a pet peeve. And there was one more thing. The cue points were a pet peeve. I don't love search. Okay. I don't love search. I don't love the fact that you got your search my collection and you got search my playlist, but I haven't found a hot button to search my collection and search playlist. And I looked, I don't see it, but the search is annoying. And this is the only reason why the search is annoying. So the beat jump has always been there. I know a lot of people thought the beat jump has been there. It was just called something different. So it probably won't let me bring up, because I don't have anything plugged in. So do I have a USB-C plug here? Hold on, let me get my bag. Ouch. Ouch! Okay. I promise you, I'm not sore. No, I'm sorry. I'm not old. It's a sore man's thing. I did legs yesterday and it killed me. Killed me. All right. Not that I need this, but I need this. All right, now, beat jump. Okay, so, beat jump didn't used to be called beat jump in here. It was called something stupid. Where was it at? It could be the skip one beat. No, because there's no half beat. Maybe it was skip. Yeah, so it must have been skip. It was something dumb. It was something super dumb. And once I found it, that's when it made sense. But super dumb. Yeah, I think it must be skip. Anyway, yeah, it's got to be skip. But it needs a half beat. Anyway, maybe it's not in this one. But that was dumb. Also, I noticed that the beat jump is there, but depending on the software, it's being overwritten. So, like on the Groove 6, I can't find a way to modify the beat jump on the Groove 6. It's actually right over there. I should have grabbed it. I can't find a way to modify it. It keeps overriding it back to one beat, and that's annoying. Ugh. I wish I knew my biggest pet peeve that I forgot. I wish I knew that, because that's annoying. That is very annoying that I can't remember what it was. Effects. Neuromix. Oh, I remember now. I remember. Okay. My biggest issue with DJAY is a dumb one, but your muscle memory and the way things work really do affect it. My biggest issue is Neuromix. Okay. Neuromix is a big problem for me because they're reversed in my mind. All right. So, all right. So let's just say these are colored pads, right? When you open up Neuromix, this whole side right here in Serato, that's vocal. This is vocal in Serato, okay? And I think this is melody, that's bass, that's drums. In DJAY, it's reversed. And they finally fixed the worst problem of all, okay? Originally in Neuromix, when you would open up the Neuromix part, everything would be, the lights would be off, all right? And then you'd have to hit the lights to activate the mute, which was weird. It was so weird. And then I would always get confused on which button I was trying to press. Does this turn it on? Does this turn it off? And then you'd hit it and it would solo it. You're like, why is it soloing? I don't want it to solo. I just want to turn off the thing. That was very, very frustrating. They fixed that. Now all the lights are on, saying these are all the active ones that are on. But for whatever reason, they have vocals on the right and drums on the left. It's so hard. It's so hard to understand that. It's so hard. I know this is dumb. I know for most people, probably not a big deal. Not a big deal. But I can't get my head around the vocals being on there, which means I just have to stop because I use both softwares. But that's annoying. Anyway, that's why I love the Rev 5 dedicated stem buttons. Yeah, I agree. I agree. And I understand what you're saying. I don't know. Why did it turn off again? I do not know what's going on. Something is triggering my camera to turn off. That is really weird. Come and talk to me. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. So that's my thing. That's my thing. I know the more I use it exclusively, the easier it's going to get. But I don't know, it feels weird that way. Cam's not getting hot. There's a fan on and everything. It has to do with my computer. Anytime I like shut my computer screen, it's going off. But it's not plugged in. It's not even plugged in. It was just the HDMI. So something might be pulling on the cord itself from the HDMI. Not sure. Either way, it's not going to happen now. It's not going to happen. Okay. Any more questions for me? It's 12:13. Can I leave this show early? Do we have any more questions? Let me try to go back. Can you remap it? Can you remap the stems? I gotta assume so. But I don't necessarily want to remap it just because, you know, you plug in something else and that's not mapped. And then now you're screwed because remember guys, I use too much stuff. Okay. In general, because I'm always testing for it. So I don't want to have to map every controller. And that's the biggest thing. You can't just plug in a controller and yes, it might work out of the box, but certain things that you've now customized and made work for you, not going to work anymore. Like I did that for my beat jump originally, for the Rev 7, I put a beat jump in for that. And it's like, yeah, I think it's like skip jump. It's such a dumb word. I was pissed when I saw the word. Like there's no way this is beat jump. Skip ahead. It was like skip ahead. Like, why would you call it skip ahead? Anyway, I feel like the stuff they're putting in place is good. Like I said, I love the crossfader effects. I just think in general, most people aren't going to use them in general. Because the things that I don't think most people are going to get that granular. Okay. I think just having the crossfader effect, basically what Angela was doing, is a effect called, what is it? Crossfader. Hold on. What's it called? Crossfader. Where did it go? Of course, I'm not plugged in, so it's not going to do it. But there's a little switch for the crossfader effects, and it's just the vocal one. It's the vocal cut that's taken up the majority of it. And yeah, I've done it a couple of times. It's definitely cool to use the vocal cut because, you know, if you're starting on a song, you bring it halfway, it literally echoes out that master vocal and then brings on the main vocal from the other track, which is it's a very cool feature. I don't know how often you're going to use that, especially if you're like DJing at a private event or a nightclub. People are expecting to sing what they want to sing. So the fact that you're coming in with some new things might confuse some people, but it's cool if you're doing like something like a wordplay. That's very, very cool. Also, if, for instance, you're just a bad DJ, which happens, you're just a bad DJ or you're a new DJ and you go to load in another song and the beat's now on beat and you're like, okay, I got to mix over. It's the first time that it will echo out your words and bring in the new words. So you're not going to have words over words. So that's going to help a lot of people out there. That's going to help a lot of people. But to each their own. To each their own. Charlize Theron. Okay. Drives me nuts and they only have 3 parts instead of 4. No, they have both. It's a switch. It's an option in there. Keep opening up and closing this thing up again. Okay. But if you go, I'm risking my camera, guys. Okay. If you go here to Neuromix and you just click the down arrow, here are your options. So right now, mine are defaulting to 4, but if I hit this switch, now we're 3. Hit it again, and now we're 2. So it's in your settings. Just got to make sure you choose the right one. Okay. Oh, and that might be a Serato thing, if you were talking about Serato. Okay, anyway. I did want to use the plastic folding table that worries me for my rain. That might be another question. That might be another question that I'm going to skip. Okay. Have you used DJ on the Quest VR? I absolutely have, Dazza. And it's cool. We're still not there yet, but once Meta, I think, comes out with their newest frames that are more like this and less like this, I think you're going to start to see more people using it, in all honesty. I do. Does beat grids work with S11 on DJ now? Does the beat grid work? What do you mean does the beat grid work on the S11? What does the S11 have to do with the beat grids? Are you talking about it, like using the hardware to like adjust? Because the S11 should have nothing to do with it, with the beat grids per se. So maybe ask a different question because I'm confused at your question. Any news on the Rain 1? Yeah, it's coming out around summer, just like they said in the first place. That's the only news. Full disclosure, I don't have one with me right now. If that's the question you're really asking. Yeah, Pablo, I have not used DJ Studio. I don't know if I will or will not. They asked me to take a look at it, like they asked a lot of people. So I, at some point, will probably look at it. Oh my God. At some point, I will probably look at it. I'm just not sure. Yeah, that's what it is. There's something going on with my MacBook. When my MacBook goes to sleep, it's taking down my camera, but they're not even together, and the MacBook's not even plugged in. It's something to do with the HDMI. It's like the HDMI is doing something with the ATEM. Oh, by the way, the new ATEM looks pretty damn cool. I no longer have an ATEM rep. So I don't know who I need to go through to check one out. Mojax, you get you get one yet? You get one yet? Let me know. Okay. But to answer your question, no, I have not used DJ Studio. I thought about it recently. Mike Marquez in the building. I saw you there earlier. What's going on, fam? I thought about it, and then I don't know, man. I don't know. I have not found a way. I haven't found a way to speed through a mix, and I understand that DJ might be the one, not DJ. DJ Studio might be the one to do this. Because every time I pulled into Ableton or I pulled into Serato Studio, it takes me longer to do a digital mix than it does to just record one. You know, it's just, that's it. Oh, fully YOLO box, huh? Okay. All right. You mean like one of these? I'm a big fan of YOLO. Big fan of YOLO. YOLO does everything right. Now, in all honesty, it really is like the best one. It really is. Yeah. But ever since I went with the DJI Pocket for like all of my conventions, I no longer bring the big cameras anymore. So this one's kind of just been sitting here doing nothing. But still a great device. Still a great device. Okay. Any good software should be plug and play out of the box. What will make it good? Shouldn't have to remap. Agreed. Agreed, Marquez. Agreed. Omar, thank you so much. Appreciate that, fam. Thank you guys for all the super chats. DJ is actually listening to DJs, which is good. Yeah, I think it's okay. All right, hold on. Let's just clarify that for 1 second. I don't think it's a matter of DJ is actually listening to DJs. I don't think that's really what it is. Yes, because I think that for the most part, all of the softwares are listening to their DJs. I just think that DJ might have the resources to make it happen faster. Like I said, I know for a fact that Serato is working on an update. I know this for a fact. But I also know that they don't have the resources like a lot of people. There's a reason that, they're trying to sell. It's not because they need the money. It's because they need more capital. They need to be able to put more people in place to do the things they need to do and get them there faster. It has nothing to do with the product dying or nothing like that. It is purely a resources thing. And I don't know what magic DJ has on Apple. I don't know where they're getting. For all we know, Apple could own DJ. I've never looked into it. But over the last 15 years, every time there is a major iPhone keynote, DJ is right there. DJ is right there. Every time. So it feels like they got the resources. Or you can be, virtual DJ and just keep doing whatever you want to do and just disregard everybody. You can do that too. Okay, let's see here. Thinking about upgrading my computer. What do you think about the M4 MacBook Air? I think about the M4 MacBook Air like I think about the M1 MacBook Air. Anything M1 or higher, it's going to be perfect for DJing. Now, if you have an M1, an M4 is going to be a big jump up from you. Okay, that's just facts. But it won't fix the DJing. However, I will tell you this, and also, like this is M4 right here, M4. I have noticed a difference in speed. I've noticed a difference in. I'll have to check because I haven't checked this yet. Because I know somebody asked me about have they fixed the delay between starting stems and not. And I will say this. I don't know if they fixed it or not. However, with the new MacBook, I did notice my stems feel like they're starting up like, I don't know, a quarter of a second, half a second faster than they did before. If I remove the bass, like I hit it, it's like just a little bit, maybe a half beat, and they're on. Before you'd hit it and it was like a whole beat. Okay. Now it's like a half beat in some cases. So much more manageable. Now, of course, I'd have to open up my other computer, my M1, and see if the delay is there. That would be a nice test. Anyway, maybe I will. The DJ update waveform on Rev 7. That's not going to happen. You're not going to see a waveform on Rev 7. Okay? I'm sorry. You're just going to have to let it go. Just because the performer got it doesn't mean that the Rev's going to get it. All right? Let it go. Move on. Here's my suggestion. Put your logo in there and don't even think about it after that. But you got to put your logo in from the Rev utility. Put your logo in. It works. Okay? That's the key. Put your logo in. In all honesty, I don't even use waveforms on any of my screen style controllers. I don't use them. I don't really use them. So my logo is pretty much on all of my screens. And it works for me. Okay, let's see what else we got here. I was speaking about waveforms. You're not going to get waveforms on any of these older controllers and mixers. Okay? It's not going to happen. As much as we want it to happen, it's not going to happen. All right? No S11, no Rev 7. What's the other one? It seems like it's mostly Pioneer products and Alpha Theta products, but the older ones is not going to happen. So you're just going to have to move on. And in all honesty, you know what? I can't remember. Hold on. I got the computer. I got it right here. Hold on. Now that I say that, I should probably take a look just in case. How do I want to do this? You get to watch an old commercial real quick. Okay. Yes. So the answer is no, it still does not work. Like I said, you're not going to get it to work on any of the legacy controllers. They weren't designed for it. So, although, like I said, I've just gotten into the habit of not looking at my screens. We are still DJs, right? Like, it's fun. My only concern wasn't that there was waveforms in the jogs. It was that there was something in the jogs, because there's nothing worse than seeing, like, you know, no drivers or whatever. Like that, that drives me more crazy than anything else. But we're all DJs. Do we need to look at the screens? Okay, I'll put it to you this way. Okay, so I use my logo on the Rain Performer, right? And the Rev 7. You know how when you turn the knobs and you can have your actual your playlist pop up? Okay. Great feature, right? Great feature. I never use it. Never, ever, ever use it. I think you're getting Serato face, Mojax, because it's new to you. I think that's the problem. You know, the Serato face does go away, but I think it's just like any other program out there, or any other hardware. You know, I know a lot of people get on the Rain Performer and then they just like freak out. Okay. They just freak out. Oh, it's too much. It's too much going on. Like, you don't have to use any of the other stuff. You don't have to use 4 faders. You don't have to do, you know, split stems and all those things. You don't have to do any of it. When it's all said and done, it can be a 2-channel controller mixer when it's all said and done. But people see all the buttons and everything. And they're like, oh my God, you don't need any of that stuff. Any of that stuff. All right, let's see here. You have a performer. Like I said, I just use the logo and I don't even think about it anymore. Let's see here. HDMI pin 19 is auto detect. It sometimes sticks on or off and could be grinding issue from pin 5 volt. Try running the laptop on battery or both. Okay, so it was on battery. That's my whole point. It wasn't plugged in. The only thing that was there was HDMI. Now, it is going into port 4 of my A10 Mini. Never done that before, but things happen. It's not the end of the world, but I appreciate you. Okay. Welcome, Stevie, and welcome to Algorithm. Look, I almost feel like I'm cheating. You know what I mean? Like you got your regular wife, which is like Serato, and then you got your work wife, which is like DJ, right? You get your work wife, and you find yourself spending more time at work than you're doing at home. So you keep seeing all the good qualities of your work wife, And next thing you know, anyway, so I keep going back to my work wife. DJ was my side chick. I don't know, man. Every time I open it up, I get a little happy. The fact that Apple Music works flawlessly in there, the fact that I can drag and drop any file I want into any crate, any category is great. Yes, to answer your question, Serato is still working on all of that stuff. It's just a matter of when it's coming out. Now, here's the thing. I know that even when it comes out, there are going to be people that are going to complain because it's one piece of a much larger rewrite. It's one piece. Okay. See, I've never even opened up DJ Studio. What do you mean it needs tempo automation? You mean it does not adjust? It does not adjust to the beats you're putting in? So it's just stuck. It's just locked. I can't look at the DJ front for 5 hours. For that reason, I'm out. Virtual DJ is absolutely the crazy ex that screams at you for not being with her. Not in a bad way. The virtual DJ doesn't, I'm not saying that's who they are. I'm just saying that's what it feels like because the virtual DJ loyalists are like that. Yeah, you don't need the bells and whistles. Now, here's the thing. Is that you've never looked at things like Ableton and stuff like that. It's kind of buried under the hood. Gotcha. I've never. Yeah, I'll look at it one day. I kind of came back to them when they were asking me because they all, everybody wants to compensate you for doing videos and stuff like that. And I'm done doing stuff I'm done doing stuff that I don't care about for free. Okay. So I'm like, yeah, if you want me to do this is what it's going to cost for me to take a look at it. Not for me to give you a good review, but for me to take a look at it. And, I have yet to get a response back. And that's okay. If all else fails, what they don't want me to do is to buy it because I will buy it and then test it out that way too. And then I'm really going to be completely honest. Now, look, I know everybody's talking about DJ is good. I mean, DJ Studio. I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it's fine. But I don't want in all things software. I don't want a software that does everything. I like to compartmentalize. So if I'm doing production and mixes, I want it to be just for that. If I'm DJing, I don't necessarily want it to be one and the same. But we'll see. I actually sent Serato a message about Serato Studio because Serato Studio is a update or two away from knocking DJ Studio off the map. In all honesty, there's a couple of things Serato Studio needs to do, and they can absolutely do full mixes. Absolutely can do full mixes. There's just a couple of things. You know, one big thing in general is the stems. Because you know you can stem in Studio, which is great. Serato Studio. I'm talking about Serato Studio, not DJ Studio. I know you can stem there too, but I know it's an extra piece. If Serato Studio can add one big thing, and it's a very simple thing. I need to be able to take a song. Okay, so I got song 1 in, and now I got song 2. All right. I want to be able to, because we already know it already adjusts to the tempo. It even adjusts to the key if you want it that way. Okay. A lot of times I turn the key off because sometimes it just really messes with the sound that I'm trying to do in my head. Okay. But a couple of things, if you're not changing the key, the way to fix things when you're not changing the key is to remove like the bass line, remove the melody, right? You can't do that in Serato Studio just by splitting the file. I want to be able to split the file. Okay, takes the file, splits it. And I want this file right here to be its own thing. So when I mute the bass line and this split, I need it to stay, not mute the bass line over here. Just that one little thing could change everything. Or otherwise, the only way to do it is to, and you can't even just make a copy, you know, and because it's taking that reference. So you can't make a copy. You have to take the same file from your directory. You got to drag it into another track and then put the mute on. That takes too much time. That's why I'm not using it for that. But if they can add that, I'll be a happy man. I will be a happy, happy man. Okay. I know you guys are talking about this insane update. You can have all the updates you want. It doesn't matter if DJ Studio. I understand DJ Studio does that. I don't own DJ Studio, Pablo. Like I said, I have a feeling about that. I also love how Serato Studio, how it's all just in there already. This is a new question that's popping up all the time now. Yum Yum Games. Would you recommend AIFF or FLAC? I don't care. In all honesty, it does not matter. Okay. If we're talking about lossless, you know, there are pundits that will scream that FLAC is the best lossless file container out there. All right. I'm still a big fan of Wave. I'm old school though. I go Wave now. But I don't think it matters. If you're doing any type of lossless, AIFF or FLAC will do the same. And AIF does lossless. You know, if you're doing a lot of things will export to AIFF. You're fine either way. There's no, it's just a container. It's literally just a container. I think AIF works for all of them now. It might have been in for Apple products, but I'm pretty sure it works for all of them. Now saying that I haven't really been in Windows for DJing. So I'm not really sure. RX2 does not support FLAC though. So then don't use FLAC. You get what I'm saying? Like then use AIFF. Or use just a really high MP3 or just go WAV file. Old school. WAV file. What's wrong with WAV file? What, because your dad used WAV file? You can't use WAV file anymore? Come on, man. Can't mess with a classic. Okay, so I'm trying to just make sure. I moved from Ableton to GarageBand, which is what I've been using, and I have to say it's pretty good. GarageBand is fantastic, and so is Logic. They're all fantastic. You just have the only problem I have. First off, I hate the way GarageBand looks. Can't stand using it. It feels like I'm using a toy. I know that's dumb. I know that shouldn't be a reason that I don't use something, but it feels like I'm playing with a toy. Okay. Logic, better, feels more professional. But then again, Logic has a crap ton of just stuff in the way. And it's so hard to use it. It's so hard to use Logic. And I have the full suite. Logic, I have it all. I open it up. I start messing with it. I turn it off. I just turn it off. It just doesn't work for me. I wish it did. Okay. Yeah, no, I agree, Mixmaster. 100%. I can't stand when people are like, it has to be this. Like, fine, if you want to do it for yourself, fine, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's not going to affect your sound. Nobody's going to hear the lossless quality coming out of your column array or coming out of your, point source system. They're not going to hear it. It's going to compress anyway. No matter what, you're going to get some compression. Okay. I would personally not use WAV files, so that's not even an issue for me. I use WAV files for one thing and one thing only. When I'm doing music production. That's it. That's it. When I'm doing music production, WAV files, lossless files. So when I'm throwing plugins on and bouncing tracks down, it's not messing with the sound. That's it. That's all. WAV files. Anything else? MP3 or AAC. Those are the two file formats that I use. MP3, AAC. And they both sound the same. Nothing, it doesn't, Simeon says, which format sounds the best? Lossless will always sound the best. It just won't sound the best on your regular speakers. Okay? Doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter what you do. MP3, AAC is all you really need. Hey, Mona XX. I think that was supposed to be Mojax. How cool is the inbuilt scratch tool on DJ Pro? And it's a Qbert file too. It's good. It's good. I don't have a problem with it. But then I have so many scratch files that one being there. It's great if I'm using my iPad because I don't have a file for that. So that's great. But besides that, I mean, there are more important things to me than having a Qbert scratch file. I want to know what the 70s sound like when using the 90s subs in external sub mode. I want to know what the 70s sound like when using the 90s subs. Okay. First off, I'm having trouble understanding your question because the 70s sound like the 90s if you're using the 90s subs because the 70s and the 90s use the same tops, exactly the same tops. So that should not be an issue. Now, if you're talking about you're using the 70s with the 70s bottoms and then you got the 90s on the side, it sounds exactly how you would think it would sound. Okay. You've now added two 18s to the sides of your speakers. So it sounds good. It sounds good. And the 70s highs can go loud enough to support all four of those. But you can use an external sub. You can use any external sub. Any external sub. If you got some LDs lying around, you can use the LDs as an external sub. Does not matter. The sub does not care. So if you got a, QSC 118 sitting back there, yeah, I could bring that if I wanted to. Absolutely. Elvis, have you heard any rumblings out of Rain aside from the long-awaited MK2 that's supposed to drop this summer? They just discontinued the 72. Have I heard anything? Well, NDA. So no, I've not heard anything. Now, honesty, I still haven't heard anything yet about any type of new mixer update. If there is one coming out, you have to imagine that there is something coming out. Just because it's time for something to come out. They haven't released a mixer. They haven't released a true S11 killer, and it's been multiple years. So yeah, they're due for one. Although I still think the Rain 70 is my go-to. It's my go-to. Okay. All right. Couple more minutes here. Oh yeah, that's for sure. Anything that's file heavy is going to take longer to load up. But when it comes to stems, which one is better? None of them are better. Okay. Stems doesn't really have, okay. The quality from the file, okay, is going to impact your stems. If you have a crappy quality file, then you're going to get crappier stems. Okay. That's just going to happen. It's only taking what you're using and trying to make it. However, what everybody's saying here, including like Mixmaster GNL, once you get to a certain file weight, basically, you know, anything in the 300s, you know, 320, people are even going higher now, you know, high resolution files. It does not matter, is what we're saying. Now, I will tell you this. If you are using waves or any uncompressed file, it's going to impact how quickly your stems come on because it's a bigger file, you know, so that's going to be an issue, you know, and if you're trying to pre-process those things, that's going to add a lot of weight to your computer. Okay. So that's just facts. But as far as sound is concerned, they're all going to come out the same. It's only taking your file. The most important part of true stems is honestly the way it's been mixed down. The mix down is far more important than the quality of the file. If the mix down is putting all the frequencies, because a lot of people, remember, a lot of people don't do proper mix downs anymore because a lot of people aren't engineers or they didn't take the time. You know, they've gone in and they've made their beat and then they just throw a plugin onto it and then they post it out and whatever. Okay. Like a lot of people aren't taking the time to actually pan and, you know, and separate out and carve space out in the music anymore. People just aren't doing that. Okay. So because of that, if you've got an overcompressed track and you try to stem it out, it's gonna sound poor because the algorithm can only do so much if you're not giving it enough. Okay. You put shit in, you get shit out. These are just facts of what we do here. So, it's not going to matter. Not going to matter. And like I said, for the most part, I use AAC now. Okay. All right. You can absolutely do this, Stevie. You can absolutely do that. And that's actually what I would recommend to most people if they got the money. Because yes, the 90s are great, but they are big, you know. But the 70s, I feel like the 70s are kind of the overall best in that window. Like, I don't love the way the 50s sound. But the 70s are better, but they're not as good as the 90s. So the 70s are going to hit that, you know, 150, maybe 175, maybe. But I'm pretty much sticking to 150. because I don't believe that the 50s should go higher than like 100 to 120, in my honest opinion. So I would say the 70s, 120, 160, maybe 170, depending on the room. The 90s, obviously, 160 to 225, somewhere around there. If the room's not ridiculous. Philip Tan in the building. What's going on, fam? Good to see you. What about Denon? Hey guys, I can't give you guys any information about unreleased products. Okay? So I'm just telling you this right now so you don't get disappointed that I'm ignoring you. I have NDAs with all the major companies. So I can't talk about anything unreleased in detail. Anyway. Okay. See, any word on the Rev 8 coming out? What's wrong with you guys? What do you want the Rev 8 to have? What do you want the Rev 8 to have? I'm just curious. If you could have an update, what would you guys want the Rev 8 to have? And don't say 10-inch platters. Don't say that bullshit. But what would you want the Rev 8 to have with its 7-inch platters? Fine, 7.5. Squeeze it to 8. What else would you want? Can you use sticker point on jog wheels because my needles bounce around? You can use a sticker on a moving jog. Yes, you can do that. You can't use it on standard controllers because all of their sticker points. I mean, I guess there is a setting in Serato. I don't know how it applies to controllers because I've never used it on a controller. I've only applied to records. But in general, if you're using the digital display, it defaults to 12 o'clock, no matter what. So if you got a cue point and you hit it, you'll notice no matter where it is on there, it's going back to 12 o'clock, always. So I don't know about that one. Okay. Okay. All right. I have 5 minutes because I have a 1 o'clock call. All right, Mike. Good to see you, pal. Maybe a little. Maybe a little. Official Rev is no longer. It's Groove now. You don't know what you're talking about. Oh. Anyway. Okay. Groove is the Groove 6 is what they're talking about. All right, I will stick to high quality, lighter, stronger. Any word on the Rev 2035? All right. 4 platters. Good luck with that one. I'm telling you this right now, guys. If they come out with a Rev anything and it has 4 platters, I'm burning it to the ground. I'm barely okay with 4 channels on the Performer. I'm barely okay with it. And I don't even use them. I don't do split stem. So it's just 2 faders that I don't even touch during the down position. So I'm very much happy with having that. Now, the one thing I would say I would love to have the auxiliary channel. So that third technical channel, I'd love to have that be an option that either you could assign to one of the decks to give you that pure third, or have it auto sync to whatever beats you're using. And I would love an EQ on the auxiliary. Not a lot of stuff I need. I know somebody said instant scratch. It'd be nice if you could have your own custom beats in instant scratch. Absolutely. But besides that, does the Rev 7 have a dedicated beat jump? I don't remember. Because I'm not looking at it right now. It's at my office. Did it have a beat jump? See, 4 channels. Everybody's saying 4 channels. I don't like that at all. Get to like down to the gym. I'm at the gym. I still don't want to lift it. And it's not even just about lifting it. It's also about size. That's why, when that Rain MK2 comes out, Rain 1 MK2, I don't know. I think a lot of people are going to buy that thing just because of the size of it. How I wish the WoW machine had 2 turntables with an actual mixer in the middle and has Serato support. I will give this okay. This is gonna be the last thing I'm gonna say. And Yum, thank you for the super chat. This is the last thing I'm gonna say. Then I got to get off. Okay. And I mean this, and I want everybody to hear this. Okay, because I know that in the grand scheme of things, the wish list is so important. I wish it would do this. I wish it would do this. I know that's a thing. Okay. But these companies are trying to run a business. Okay. And they have to supply the highest common denominator. Okay. So if they know that 85% of their people, 90% of their people only want something like the Rev 7 size. Okay. And they know there's 10%, maybe even 5% that wants a full controller setup with 2 1000s in them. No, I was gonna say that 1000 like the PRXs, but no, I'm talking about like the controllers, some Rain 12s or the Pioneer ones, and a full size 2-channel battle mixer connected together. Do you know how heavy that controller is going to be? Do you guys remember when we used to rock coffins for our turntable mixer setup? Do you remember how hard that coffin was to get up onto a table, onto a stand? Do you remember any of that? Do you remember how if you were a one man trying to lift it, you risk the potential of pulling your back out every time you did it, because coffins were hard. They were awkward. In order to do it, you got to grab from one side and then kind of pull up and then drag up, and oh my God, a nightmare, an absolute nightmare. And you want that back in production. You get what I'm saying? So yes, there are people like you who are like, okay, I would love to have that. You are a small minority. Okay. I'll turn it around on you. Okay. Let's say, you're a successful DJ company. Okay. And, somebody comes in and says, and you got all your systems, right? You got your lighting, you got all these things and everything's great. And somebody comes in and says, hey, I want to book you, but I don't want to use any of the stuff you have. I want to use this type of speaker and this type of high and this type of lighting and this type of furniture for the front of it. I don't want your facade. You'd say, no, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense for me. I'm going to recommend somebody else. I don't have that. This is like that. Okay. You guys all want this perfect controller, but the majority of you don't want it. The majority of you think it's too large. So they're going to spend all this R&D and all this production, and then they're going to make this thing, and they're going to be like, hey, this is what you guys asked for. And 10% want to buy it. If I'm a businessman, that's bad business. That is bad business. So no, I don't think it's ever going to happen because they can't make enough on the return. There's no ROI. I'm sorry. That's just the facts of what we're dealing with here, guys. Just facts. Anyway, all right. That would absolutely be a custom DJ controller. And if you're doing that, just get turntables and a mixer. You know, the new Pioneer turntables are absolutely amazing. You get those in your S11, you're good. They make a Danny Max booth for it. It takes a damn Mack truck to take it anywhere, but they do make one for it. We already talked about that, DJO. We talked about that. Anyway, go back, check out the video. You'll see it. But I do have to go because I have my call right now. And what is this call for? Phoenix, Arizona. Okay. Are we even available? I swear to God, we're doing more parties outside of California than, not really, but like we do so many more. It's insane. Okay. All right, guys. I got to run. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you. I'm off this weekend. That's why you're seeing all these videos come up. This is a light month, so you're going to see more and more videos. I got one on the Phoenix microphone system, which I love. I'm going to do another video on movers. We're going to talk about degrees. We're going to do a whole video on degrees, and we're going to just run a test and see. Okay. Anyway, besides that, thank you guys so much. Thank you guys for the super chats. Make sure you hit the like on your way out, but I do have to run. I appreciate you all. I will see you next Thursday at the same time, but make sure you watch the videos. So then when we come here, you don't ask the questions about the video that you could have just watched the video and then that question wouldn't be there. Thank you so much. Tell your friends about the show. We're trying to get this show up to about 200 people every single Thursday. We've been going up. We've been hitting around 150. This show can be doing more. Help me out, people. Help me out. Tell your friends. Let them know this is the show. You can even watch it on the repeat. I don't care, but just tell your friends. All right, y'all. I got to run. Have a great day. See you soon. Peace out.